Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Left and Light Fellowship of Nurses. And I'm going to give y'all a few seconds or a few minutes to get logged on as we talk about our topic today. I know it's been a while, but I have been busy and I'm sure that you have as well. But we're going to be talking about something today that is a needed topic. I mean, a needed discussion. So I hope it benefits y'all in some type of way. So, and what we'll be talking about or what we'll be discussing today is distractions. And if y'all tune in, also we're going to be giving away one free tutoring session, one-on-one tutoring session for those of you who are in nursing school. And the tutoring session, it can be in either med surge, fundamentals, or pharmacology. So I'm going to give y'all a few minutes again to get logged on, but yeah. So somebody will win a free tutoring session. And for those of you who don't know me, my name is Francesca Brown, and I am the founder of Left and Light Fellowship of Nurses. And Left and Light Fellowship of Nurses was developed to help nursing students, on your nursing journey, because sometimes this nursing journey, it can be difficult, right? And sometimes in nursing school, you have these tests and you're used to memorizing things. But it's not just enough to memorize these things. You need to be able to understand the topics, right? You need to be able to connect the dots because you want to be prepared when the NCLEX comes around. You don't want to be scramming. You want to make sure that you have mastered the contents because they're gonna test you on whether or not you understand. It's not about you memorizing things. It's not about you being able to recall, but it's about you being able to connect the dots. So that's what the NCLEX is going to be about. So you want to start preparing for NCLEX as soon as possible. So as early in your nursing journey as possible, you want to start preparing for your NCLEX. So even right now, even if you're just starting out, it will behoove you to get you some NCLEX books, whether it's Kaplan or it really doesn't matter, but something to be able to, so you'll be able to acquaint yourself with some of the things that are going to be on the test. So today we're going to be talking about distractions. What are some of the distractions that you're going to face in nursing school? Because in life, distractions are going to come whether or not you plan for them or not. They are going to come, and sometimes they can sneak up on you. And if you're not careful, distractions can derail you from whatever journey that you have. It's just not nursing school, but a lot of other things, a lot of other goals in life. If you are distracted by something, right, it's going to delay the amount of time that it takes you to get to where you're trying to go. So your goal, what you want to do is you want to pinpoint these distractions as early as possible. You want to be able to pinpoint them, and not only or do you want to pinpoint them, but you also want to be able to get rid of them as soon as possible. So sometimes, like I said, the distractions are going to come, and the more distractions, it's not good. So distractions definitely will derail your journey. So one of the first distractions, um, as we know about, all of you are familiar with, one is social media, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's TikTok. These things can be a distraction, and they can become a distraction because, look, you may have set aside 15 minutes to be on your phone, right? But before you know it, instead of you being on the phone for 15 minutes, you have found that you have scrolled on the phone for an hour. Or sometimes that hour becomes an hour and a half. You'd be like, well, I'm just going to put my phone down. And before you know it, you have not put your phone down. Your phone is still in your hands. And that could have been time that you could have used to study, right? So again, social media is going to be a distraction. Didn't say that you can't get on social media at all, because sometimes during the day you need a break. You need to take a break from what you have going on. I don't know if y'all ever seen the movie. It's called The Shining, and the one with Jack Nicholson, right? And in The Shining, Jack Nicholson said, "All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy." So you have got to take a break. You have literally throughout the day, you have to take breaks throughout the day, because if you don't, you're literally going to drive yourself crazy. So I'm not saying that you cannot get on social media at all, but what you might need to do is you might start to set a timer, right? So that 15-minute does not become an hour. So when you get on social media, set your timer for 15 minutes or so. And when the 15 minutes is up, get off the phone. But one of the things about social media, don't believe everything that you see, right? Because sometimes people will put things on social media, and it's a lot of times it's just a facade. They're putting what they want you to believe, or they're putting the life that they want you to believe that they have. And everybody does not have that glitz and that glamorous lifestyle that they portray on social media. But you being on the other side, you don't know that, because all you ever see is them portraying the glitz and the glamour. And the next thing you know, you start to idolize those things, or you start to covet those things, and you want those things, right? Or sometimes, if you're not careful, you start to compare yourself to what they have going on. And which leads me to another distraction, right? So that other distraction can be comparison. You comparing your journey to somebody else's journey. Look, you don't know what other people have going on in their life, right? So sometimes all we know is what we see. And sometimes what we see is not always true. So don't believe everything that you see, right? Don't believe everything that you hear, and don't believe everything that you see. So when a lot of times, again, like, and this ties in again with social media, when you're on social media and people put this lifestyle in front of you, right, you're going to start to covet that lifestyle, and you may become jealous of this lifestyle that some of these people don't even have, and you comparing your situation to their situation. And again, you don't know what they have going on, right? So anything in life, I have found that it's not good to compare yourself to other people, because again, you don't know what they have going on. Their situation is different from yours, and you got to look at all the other variables. You got to take into account the other variables, right? So I remember when I became a nurse, and my first time working in like a healthcare setting in a building. And I decided, look, I've been a nurse practitioner, and I'm sick of doing this, because I'm the one that's doing all the hard work, right? And these doctors are doing nothing, and they're the one that's getting all the money. And I was like, look, I'm about to change my major. And not change my major, but I was like, I'm about to go back to school, and I want to become a doctor. So I went and got me some MCAT books. And before I did all that, I remember talking to one of the med students, right? And I was telling her, I'm thinking about going back to nursing school. And I'll never forget what she told me. And when she was like, well, you don't have a run. And y'all might not know, but Ron was her husband, right? And Ron was a well-established doctor. And Ron was he looked like he probably about 20 years older than her. But anyway, he was established in his career. Ron had money, and therefore she was comfortable, right? So when she was in nursing school, or when she was in med school, she did not have to worry about how the bills were going to get paid, right? She didn't have to worry about the kids and who was going to pay the babysitter, or who was going to pay the ballet instructor. She did not have to worry about those types of things, because her husband was well established, and he had the money to pay for those things. So she was set, right? So I can't compare my situation. I got to look, what about these variables that she has going on? So our situations were totally different. So don't compare your situation. You have got to learn in this life how not to compare what you have going on to somebody else. Because in life, like, we're all on a journey. I don't care what that journey is, whether it's for you to become a nurse, or if it's for you to become a doctor, or whether it's for you to purchase your own home, or whether it's for you to be married. Everybody has different goals, right? And everybody is on a different journey. Sometimes we're on the same journey, but we're taking different paths to get there. But don't compare yourself again to anybody else, because when you're on that journey and you start to compare yourself and your situation to what everybody else has going on, that's going to take the joy out of what you have going on, right? So comparison and jealousy, those things will rob you of your joy. And indeed, they are a distraction. So anything that takes you away from your goal, or if your goal, let's say it was only to take you, let's say 4 years, but somewhere down the line you got distracted. So instead of becoming a nurse in 4 years, it may take you 4.5 years. And somewhere again you got distracted. So distractions, they move you farther and farther away from your goal. So if something is moving you away from your goal, sweetheart, that is a distraction. So again, your goal and what you want to do is you want to pinpoint your distractions, and then you want to nip them in the bud. You want to pinpoint them, and then you want to eliminate them. That is what you want to do, right? Because you don't need, look, you got enough going on in nursing school. And don't let these distractions rob you of your journey. Don't let them make your journey longer than what it should be. It makes me think about the children of Israel when Yah had called them out of Egypt, and their journey, probably something that only should have taken them days, it took them like 40 years to get through the wilderness. So don't be wondering all this time. You need to this again, recognize what your distractions are, and you need to eliminate those distractions. So we said the social media is one distraction, and comparing your situation and what you have going on in life to what other people have going on. Comparison is a distraction. But sometimes another distraction could just be entertainment. I mean, Netflix. You might be Netflixing and chilling a little bit too much. You might be Amazon Priming a little bit too much. You might be doing a little bit Tubi too much TV or too much entertainment, things that they enter in and they take hold of your senses. They take hold of your mind. They take a root in your heart, right? And they entertain you. So they have established like a stronghold. So whatever that entertainment is, for some of you, it might be going to the club, or for some of you, it might be going to happy hour because be like, look, I didn't work hard all week. I'm gonna kick my feet up and I'm gonna go on over to the neighborhood bar and grill. Right. So sometimes those things can become a distraction. So entertainment, I didn't say that there's anything wrong with entertainment, but some things you have got to learn how to do in moderation. Because if it gets to the point where you cannot get up in time enough, you're late for clinicals, or you didn't study, and because you didn't devote enough time to studying because you had to go shake a tail feather down at the local lounge, so you didn't have enough time to study, right? So these things can be a distraction if you are doing them too much. And for some people, one time is going to be a distraction for you, so you have to define out you have to determine how much is too much for you. But let everything be done. You got to learn how to do things in moderation. What else? Sometimes people's opinions about what you have going on, right? Sometimes, look, as long as people have this right here on their face, that's any of us. We're going to talk, people are going to talk. So you cannot become so enmeshed by other people's opinions about what you have going on, because the truth of the matter is nobody's opinion is going to pay your bills, right? Nobody's opinion is going to get you through nursing school. Nobody's opinion is going to help you on that med surg exam. Nobody's opinion is going to help you on that pharmacology exam. So don't worry about people's opinions. People are entitled to their opinions, and just because they have them, that does not mean that they're true, right? Just because they have them, that does not mean that you have to entertain them, right? So let people talk, but you have got to learn how to, what am I trying to say? You got to learn how to tune people out sometimes, because if you don't, you're going to drive yourself crazy. If you don't, you're going to fail out of nursing school. If you don't, you're going to have a lot going on. So don't worry about what people's opinions are about this and what people's opinions are about that, because people's opinions change all the time, and nobody's opinion is going to pay any of your bills. So when it comes to people, sometimes you have to forget them people, right? Don't worry about what they say. Don't worry about what they think, right? Don't worry about that, because it does not amount to a hill of beans. And it's not going to bring you anywhere closer to your journey, because people are going to have an opinion about, well, you shouldn't do this, or you're too old to go back to nursing school, or you're not smart enough to go back in nursing school, or you shouldn't do it right now, or you have too many kids, or people are always going to talk. They're always going to have something to say, but don't worry about people's opinions, because again, people's opinion, if you become so involved in what other people think about you and what you have going on, that is not going to bring you any closer to your goal. So y'all just hear me. People's opinions, they're just that. Because I remember, if I would have paid attention to people's opinions, I would have never graduated. I remember, when I was in nursing school, and I started out, what did I start out? I started out in physical therapy, right? But I I had some distractions going on called a relationship. So that was not on the list. But sometimes you need to examine your relationships, because if the relationship is not bringing you closer to your goals, sometimes that relationship can be a distraction. But anyway, that was a distraction for me at the time when I got out of high school, right? And I failed out and I lost some of my scholarships in undergrad, right? So I ended up changing my major from physical therapy to, what was it? I changed it from physical therapy to respiratory therapy. Yeah, I was still distracted. Um, Still being distracted. And needless to say, I failed like what, 2 semesters of respiratory. So I had to change my major. So I ended up changing it to nursing. And by the time I graduated, from the time I started till the time I actually finally got a degree, it was 10 years later. And while I was in school, people called me a professional student. And I probably was a professional student. But guess what? I did not let their opinion about me being a professional student stop me from getting a degree, because I knew why I was doing it. When I finally made my mind up and like had like a laser focus, like that eagle vision, I wasn't gonna let anything else distract me, because I had been distracted for too long. So just a little caveat. Along the journey, sometimes you just need to remember your why. Why are you doing this? Ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why do you get up every day and go to nursing school? Or why do you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready for clinicals? Why am I doing that? Are you doing that because you are a single parent and you want to be able to provide better for your children? Because you don't want them to have to be brought up the same way that you were. You want to make their life easier than what yours was. Or maybe you might be the single mother, or maybe you might still be living in the hood and you might be like, look, this is not where I want to spend the rest of my life. I know that there's something better that's out there, and I don't want to live in the hood for the rest of my life. Or maybe for some of you, you might want to go beyond the hood and you'd be like, look, I've never taken a trip outside of my neighborhood. I want to explore the world. And I know in order for me to explore the world, I got to have some money. So some of you might be doing it because you want your financial situation to improve. And some of you, whatever reason, whatever your reason is, you have to remember your why. And when you remember your why, it makes it easier for you to eliminate the distractions. It makes it easier for you to see what those distractions are and to get rid of them. It makes it easier for you to not pay attention to people's opinions. It makes it easier for you to keep on this journey, even though it's hard, right? Even though it's difficult, y'all, it's still doable. It's still doable, right? So you can do this, but you got to make your mind up. You have to be focused, right? And you have got to be like, look, it's now or never. You have to make your mind up that this is what I want to do and I'm going to do it. You have to set your goals, but sometimes in order to reach your bigger goal, you have to set smaller goals along the way in order to reach the other one, the bigger one, right? So remember your why. In all things, always remember your why, and that will make it easier again. And the last one, this is probably going to be a shocker to some of y'all, right? And it kind of was a shock to me when I was preparing it. But sometimes one of the distractions along the way, y'all, can be the goal itself. And what I mean by that, because sometimes we have a goal, and our goal, like, hear me out, is, we say we have this eagle vision or it's laser focus, and I'm going to achieve this goal no matter what. And sometimes it's the no matter what part of that goal. If you get to the point where you don't care if you have to hurt somebody, if you don't care if you have to cheat, if you're stepping over people, if you're mistreating people, in order to get to your goal, that goal has become a distraction for you. And all I'm saying, I'm not telling you to drop out of school, but what I'm saying is that you need to just take a step back and remember that you should always treat people the way that you want to be treated. Never forget those who help you on your way up, because there might come a time when you're on your way down and you're going to see some of those same people that you mistreated. So don't get so high-headed and stick your chest out and have your head up because you're so proud of the fact that you're in nursing school, and never feel like that you're better than anybody else. Because when the creator made us, he made us all the same. He loves us all in his sight. He shows no favoritism, right? So no one is better than anyone else. So don't snuff your nose up at the CNA. Don't look down on your neighbor next door because they might be working a 9 to 5. They might be working at Walmart. It's an honest job. So never think because you're in nursing school that you're better than anybody else, right? So we gotta treat people right. I don't care what journey we are in life, what path we are on in life. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if you find that you're in a position and you're so focused on your goal that you start to mistreat people, that you start to lie, that you start to abandon your duties as a wife or even as a mother, it's time for you to reassess and to figure things out. And again, I'm not saying you just sometimes you need to readjust your focus, and everything is going to work out. And I honestly believe that, and we'll talk about this on another day, but you just have to stay focused. I'm just going to leave it at that. You're going to have to stay focused. And more than anything, you're going to find out this is it's more than just an educational journey. This is a spiritual journey. And if you don't know the Father in heaven, this journey is going to be so hard for you. Um, not having faith in his word, y'all, that's going to be a distraction. I don't want to start preaching to y'all, but when you really start to know him, and when things happen, you're going to understand that everything is working to your good if you love him. And when you are called according to his purpose, his Holy Spirit will go before you, make your crooked path straight, right? So whatever happens, whatever the enemy throws your way, or whatever you are dealing with, anxiety, whatever, he's going to help you be able to focus on that. And he's going to show you how to handle those situations. So those have been a distraction. So just for a recap, the distractions are social media, comparing yourself to um, other people's opinions of you, entertainment, and also sometimes the goal itself can become a distraction. So I hope that this message has been helpful to y'all in some type of way, right? And see that nobody's on. Well, maybe it's one person on the live. If anybody's on the live, please tell me your name or just type in hello or say something, please. Okay. So if this the word has blessed, well, I like to say bless you. If it has helped you in any type of way, please feel free to share it with someone else. And again, whoever is on the chat, if you could just put your name in, because the goal was for someone to win like a free tutoring session, one-on-one tutoring session. So if you are a nursing student, just go ahead and put that down there. But yeah, before I log off, and I just want to introduce myself at the end of the video because I already did at the front. But again, my name is Francesca. I'm the founder of Lamp and Light Fellowship of Nurses. Goal of this company is to help nursing students along their journey from being a nursing student to help them to become the professional nurse. So some of the services that I offer are one-on-one tutoring sessions. Um, and also for this month and next month, because I'm offering the 2-for-1 where you can get like a tutoring session, you and your friend. But just check that out on the website. Also, interview preparation, because when you go on an interview and you want to be well polished for the interview because you want to stand out from the other candidates. So also offer interview, like a mock interview, resume proofreading services, and also one-on-one nursing student consultations, because you might not need to be tutored, but you may have questions about nursing school. So I also offer one-on-one nursing student consultations and also one-on-one consultations for professional nurses. Like you might want to know how to write your resume or your proficiency or your annual review, because it's time for you to get a raise. So those are just some of the services that I offer. So again, make sure you share this video or this, yeah, share with your friends. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and also hit the notifications bell. And thank y'all for tuning in.